Hello and welcome to Their Super Geek. I'm Jeremy. I'm here with my co-hosts, Mariam and Kristin, and our guest, Angela. Tonight, we'll be playing a game by Mariam, Flats and Fangs. But first, who are we? Their Super Geek is a one-shot actual play live stream that highlights the voices of marginalized folks in the TTRPG scene, where we feature gender marginalized GMs and a diverse rotating cast. We're also proud members of the Misdirected Mark Network. As I said earlier, joining us tonight is Angela. Before we begin, let's go around the table and introduce ourselves. So who are you and where can we find you? I guess I will start. And so I'm Jeremy. You can find me on Twitter at HarkMorper. I'm a queer, non-binary educator, game designer, and tabletop streamer. I stream here. I try to get involved with Utopia things where I can. And that's me. I'm going to pass things off to Mariam.
Hey, everyone. We are on point tonight.
We're professionals.
Why don't I just ping pong this back just for a little bit, because I would like to go last, please.
Yes, I will go next solely for the sake of removing that task from Mariam. Hello there, everybody. I'm Angela. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me over on Twitter at Phoenix24Fem or on Patreon at Philosophem. I am a professional writer, poet, workshop facilitator for various topics around disability justice and just disability in general, specifically as relates to race and trans identity. I am a budding game designer. I have including 17 playbooks put out for the Slayers RPG system, as well as soon to be involved in the recently kickstarted Slayers Almanac, with one of my own districts joining 9 other writers to create a whole set of 10. And I'm also a freelance musician. You can catch my works over at Brandy Rose's stream channel, as well as other places like Friends Who Roll Dice. And also, I am involved in various channels. Usually see me on Utopia one-shots or charity streams, or over on All Nerds Here, where recently I was a GM. And also I am a consistent player on the Sunday shows, where the last one I ran was Animon Story RPG in my own Final Fantasy inspired world and throwback to 90s pocket monster nostalgia. So yeah, I wear a lot of hats and I balance a lot of plates, and depending on the time of the year or even time of the week, they are different levels of balanced and states of precarity. So that's me.
That's a mood, Angela. Hi, I'm Kristin. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at KristinIsNoJedi. I am an RPG game designer, writer. I do this wonderful stream every other Thursday with 2 of my favorite people and our wonderful guests. I'm also a podcaster. I co-host Tabletop Babble. My show is actually called Tabletop Crowd, but it's in the Tabletop Babble family, where I interview folks who have crowdfunding gaming related projects coming out in order to get more eyes and ears on them and hype them up and boost them, because they are very talented folks. I will talk more about my projects at the end, so I'll pass it to Mariam. Mariam, is it your turn now?
Yay! It's my turn now. Hello, everybody. I am Mariam. I use they, them pronouns, and you can usually find me rambling, saying random things on Twitter at media_junkie. You can find me here every alternate Thursday, at least for one more Thursday this year, to 2021, for those who will be listening to this, I don't know, in 2050. With my two wonderful co-hosts and our wonderful cadre of guests that come through our virtual tables step threshold. You can also find me on I'm on a roll tonight. You can also usually find me on Utopia as being one of the 3 raccoons in trench coat known as caretakers of that's community, and I write games, and I can talk more about that towards the end of this game. But right now, I will talk about the game that I just recently wrote, which is Flats and Fangs, which is what we're going to be playing today. So Flats and Fangs is a love letter to what we do in the shadows and kind of this absurd supernatural comedy. And it is a Lasers and Feelings hack where everyone else except for me, since I'm the game master, are a group of vampires that share a flat together, or an apartment for people in North America, or a house, depending. And you're just trying to live your best on life in this very intrusive modern world. We'll get into mechanics as we play the game and as they come up. It's very simple. You use a d6 or a couple, and you use that to essentially see if you succeed in tasks that would be risky. And so let's set the scene. We've done a little bit of our character prep ahead of time for the sake of, not listening to very long pauses and silences. We've also done some safety tool prep in the process of lines and veils. Let's get into this game. So, in this beautiful, picturesque town somewhere in North America, let's say Winterbag, because I'm Canadian, or somewhere in the Northeast, because that's usually where, this sort of atmosphere is there for the like holidays and those cheesy movies where there's beautiful powdered sugar coated trees and pine cones and the picturesque village. We see your shared abode. Now, before we get into what that looks like, we cut to Elise. Elise, please describe yourself and what you're doing at this very moment in the early hours.
So I'm going to start this off with nice, good, wholesome, cliche coffeehouse lesbian vibes, which is, I think she's she's sitting somewhere in the corner of a coffee shop. Elise the Enticing, which is her full name. She is a succubus who she kind of always looks like she's wearing like a tight corset and like this really beautiful like pashmina that's all around her. But now she has it more styled, so it's like big red and greens kind of color tones to it. And she has like super cozy tights that have like by pride flag kind of colorations with them. And she's like, she's actually wearing like thick, heavy like snow boots. But every time she moves, they always sound like they're very clickety clackety, like high stiletto heels, even when she's moving through snow. I think she's just kind of like doing one of those like cliche movie starts where she's just going like, and like looking at like one of the baristas. I'm going there. We're going with this vibe. This is the goal here for this game. And she's just sort of like, I wish she'd pay attention to me. And all the while she's like one eye trained on the barista, and every now and then looking the other end of the corner of the coffee house and seeing like 2 or 3 guys who are like looking at her, and she's just like, ugh. They're giving her that kind of look, which is like, hi, you're very tasty. And I'm just like, no, I'm too above your league, and also just no.
Ew. Yeah, so what does early hours mean for you? Is it like dawn? Is it
It's like 4 a.m., I'd say, so a little bit before dawn. She is what I am not as a person in my everyday life, which is an early riser. And this is one coffee house that always open. It's like 24/7 because she knows they're always. I imagine we're somehow conveniently within distance of like a university or somewhere. So there's always students who, like, especially when it's the end of like winter semester, are like, we have finals to do. Oh wait, we have to actually do them. Shit, I need to stay up past a reasonable time and I need coffee. So it's always open.
yes. So your place is kind of on the outskirts of this town, and we'll see why in a moment. But also it seems like there's the start of a strip mall. So that's where this coffee house is currently.
The dream. The dream.
As there's these bright neon lights in the distance, which we will get to also in a moment. Let's now move to another character. Let's go to Kwaku. Where are you in these early hours, and what do you look like?
Yeah. Okay. So I am. I imagine that I am sitting on the ground of the house, of our house, near the doorway, pulling on big snow boots. Kind of. So I've got dark skin. I'm a pretty tall person, or Kwaku's a pretty tall person. But it's hard to tell their proportions right now because I've got very large puffy jacket on. I am incredibly bundled. I've got a scarf wrapped halfway around my face, a hat pulled down, big thick gloves on. I'm pulling the boots on, and you can hear me muttering to myself, kind of grumbling. Don't know why we moved here. Can't. Cold and shaking my head. I finally finish, stand up, and I go and I open up the front door, and the snow is just coming down. I take one look around, kind of shake my head, and then I close my eyes, and then there's a flash, and I'm a little firefly, and I kind of fly off above the snow.
So are your clothes sort of like, do they, I forget what the word is for when your clothes kind of melt. Oh, meld. Do they meld with you, or did you just pull all those on to just leave them behind?
There's definitely a large pile of at least outer garments there. You can't see what's under them. We'll see. We'll find out when I when I change back.
You hear from just out of earshot as you leave. It's like, what was the point of all of that? Who's gonna pick this up? Your mom? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, do we know who's yelling yet?
Oh yeah, it's your unwanted roommate that came with the house.
Of course it is.
But before we get into who that voice belongs to, let's get to Sylvia. Sylvia, what are you up to at 4 a.m.?
4 a.m. Yeah, I think that as Jeremy's character, is it Kwaku, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Kwaku.
So I think as Kwaku is turning into what I imagine a beautiful, bright firefly, and they
little purple light.
Oh, purple. See, you're after my own heart, Jeremy. Kristin loves purple. Sylvia does not. So Sylvia is coming back into the house and kind of swats at this bright purple light that's flying near her. Does not hit it, but swats at it. I don't think she's used to this transformation yet. But Sylvia is shorter, also medium or dark skinned, and has long, straight black hair and very heavy, long bangs. And she is dressed in winter wear, like snow pants and a snow jacket and a scarf and a hat with one of those little, two, in fact, of those little pom-poms right on top, and boots, but everything is black instead of being like bright and colorful. And she comes in and she slams the door behind her. She doesn't wipe her feet or anything. And she drops on the like entryway table, like drops a pile of papers. And we see that they are missing persons flyers, but instead of missing person, it's missing pig. And she's clearly disappointed because another night out looking for something she's missing, and she did not find it yet. So
how long has this pig been missing?
Let's see. Is 6 months a good time, Mariam?
I do not know. One of the things I did not research on today is the growth chart of a pig. But you know what? It's fantasy world. Let's say for the purposes, sure, 6 months.
Perfect. So yes, this pig has been missing for 6 months now.
Yeah, and what is the name of said pig?
Oh, naming things.
I mean, we did toss a couple of ideas before stream.
Oh, wow, my memory. Thank you so much for saying that. Wow. Guinea is the name. Ginny, Guinea, the pig.
Mm-hmm.
And for folks listening, please don't give me credit. That was all Mariam's wonderful brain.
It was a group effort. Yeah, so Guinea the pig has been missing for 6 months, and another fruitless night. And yeah, as you come in and don't bother wiping, you get a, hey, who raised, were you raised in a barn?
No, I was raised in an apartment about 7 miles east from here. Why? Why do you ask?
And you see this ethereal shape of a person just sitting there, hands crossed on a rocking chair, just rocking away and going like, whatever. And just disappears, goes pop.
Sylvia takes off her jacket and drops it on the chair where said spirit was.
And you sort of hear just around you, floating around you, don't blame me when when the floor starts breaking because there's mold because you didn't bother doing proper winter mudroom hygiene.
I love this judgmental spirit already.
So, your house, this is indeed the fourth roommate, who, you know what? Who wants to name this, Judgy McJudgerson? And for those who are listening to this as a podcast, we all suddenly put our finger on our nose, except for Angela.
Oh, the burden falls to our amazing special guest.
Wonderful guest who is great with names.
Her name, I'm going to say their name was Aria.
Ooh.
All right. Ooh, nice.
Because I like to imagine that in a past life, they were, in their past corporeal existence, they were like a very famous opera singer, like super snooty, high-class opera singer. but so hence the super judgmental. It's like, are you raised in a barn kind of attitude? And it's like, I don't know. Were you raised to be without manners? It's like that kind of person. Big, like much louder all the time than they ever realize they are. So even when they're not trying to make snide comments, like they're trying to be quiet, we always hear them because they don't know volume control.
And also, in previous tenants, the three of you are probably the first tenants who have stuck around for a while, because everyone else sort of hears this ghostly music and like your shoes are so last season and just go running out of the house.
True.
Yeah, so let's take a moment to describe this house.
Oh.
If we want to go around and sort of describe a feature of the house. I know we've already picked our strengths and problems with the house, but a little description of what the house is. It is private property, which means that you do have a house and a yard and a white picket fence, or whatever color purple picket fence if you choose.
About to say it has to be purple solely for Kristin's benefit.
With purple hedges. Which are not trimmed because you didn't pick trimmed topiaries.
No, we did not. We'll see if that was a mistake or not.
If no one else has any ideas, I'm going to put in one element. I don't know what the actual design of this is. All I will say, though, is that the kitchen is not narrow. I live in a household that has a very narrow kitchen. I now want, in any game that I play, the kitchen must be large and able to have lots of people in it.
Sure, it's a beautiful, in fact, this house is probably the reason why you got it for song. Is because this was too big for anyone to maintain and was sold super cheaply. And your super or landlord, unless you actually bought it, we can play however we want to play, doesn't really care about upkeep and is just like, well, the tenants have never complained about it, so I don't need to do anything. But it is a beautiful kitchen because it was once upon a time an entertaining kitchen. So there's this big island and like an old 8-burner gas stove. But it's old. It's like, those ones where it's like the oven as you open it and it's just a big hole in which you cram food.
Yeah.
And a lot of the cooking ware is very kind of turn of the century, not the 21st, but the 20th.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
I was going to say, I think on the outside it has gargoyles. I just like the big, creepy, I think they're gorgeous. Perched gargoyles on little parapet things. I'm not sure if they match the house. They definitely don't match the neighborhood.
And each gargoyle is a different art style.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they clearly were not all brought here at the same time.
Oh, no.
No, I've been working on those for a bit.
Oh, I like the idea that there are stained glass windows, but instead of it being anything religious or anything that maybe mortals would consider gorgeous, I like to think that it's like demons or previous evil rulers that are in the stained glass windows. So maybe that's why we don't get a lot of visitors here.
I feel like at some point after it passed Arya's possession, some historian / artist, because there's a college nearby, we're going to say it's a liberal arts college, decided that was in the roaring 40s at some point. And that's why those are installed. And because let's just say someone had said, even though we haven't chosen heritage zoning laws, I'm going to say that they're not technically heritage zoning laws, but people just feel bad about tearing down history in this area. Also, it's really creepy, so they're a little hesitant to go and do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just imagining stained glass windows with like artwork by like Hieronymus Bosch or something like that.
Yes.
So like the stuff where like there's like a guy with like a bird head, and then people are like dying or like showing scenes of like terrible things happening to them, and like, oh Susie, what about that house, Mom? We don't go near that house. We don't go near it. What's that bird eating?
How popular are all of you during October?
Can we say we're like the house that everyone comes to?
Are there dares to like go touch the like ring the doorbell sort of a thing and survive?
I like that.
I have an idea for another reason why the gargoyles, why some of them are of different styles.
Yes.
Because there's been a consistent dare for years in the neighborhood by the kids to go and try and touch some of the higher ones, and some kids have succeeded, but they've ended up breaking off pieces of the gargoyles, so we've had to repair them over years.
Oh, have they been what is it, the mosaic reconstruction of like Jesus in Spain?
Jesus.
Jesus in Spain.
Literally, Jesus.
No, but like, you know what I'm talking about, that particular painting where it's like in a old church, and some old grandma was like, I can fix this, I can paint, and yeah.
Yes, I'm looking it up right now. Yes, I approve this so good. Yes.
That happened.
That.
Yes. Oh, I just looked. Yes, I just looked it up. I approve of this description so much.
So yeah, because we're near a liberal arts school yet again, multiple students perhaps who were too poor to find anywhere else to stay decided to stick it out and fix the local sculptures. / gargoyles. Okay, so now that we have an idea of what our house is like, you get I'd say Kwaku, you get a text from your bestie saying, "Hey, want to meet up today?"
So I have to change back. I can feel the text. I know that I got it, but I got to change back. So yeah, I switch back, or there's another flash of light, and then I'm standing there in the middle of the street, in the middle of the sidewalk, in just long johns at this point, pulling out my phone. And then I send a smiley face with the blushing smiley back. And then the clock question mark.
And then you get brunch. It's on me, and the and the address of the coffee house.
It's just praise hands.
And it's called Le Bean, but it's LEZ beans.
Le Bean.
Le Bean. Oh, my favorite.
Except the local population never calls it that. They keep calling it lesbians.
Lesbians.
Lesbians. Yeah, absolutely. Doing a little
dance.
Little dance there in the street.
Oh, adorable.
You're getting strange
Uh,
looks from passerbys. And at some point, you see this one person who clearly looks homeless and is like carrying their sack and everything, and like, do you want my jacket? I have 2 of them.
uh,
One might have fleas in them.
thank you. I think I'm fine. I'm good.
I know being an artist is rough, but you'll get there.
I look back at my phone and I'm like, I feel warm inside. I feel good.
Okay. But I'll be in the corner of 3rd and 5th if you want that flea market jacket that I have. And kind of starts trundling away.
And then I take a quick, I probably don't look around. I forget to look around, and I another flash of light and I go flying away. And then there's a very fast blinking purple light zooms towards the brunch place, even though I think it's nowhere near that time yet.
No, and I'm gonna say that's the same coffee house / brunch place that Elise is currently at. And Sylvia, if you would like to join in, you can certainly head there at any point. If not, cool, but just throwing that out there. So the barista you are staring at, you see her, Elise, you see her pulling up a phone, texting, putting it away, and turns around and says, what can I get you?
There's like redness that appears from like the top of her forehead all the way down. Like it's full face of red, just like being up next to her. And she's just so hot chocolate. You've hot chocolate? Hot chocolate, lots of double marshmallows.
So triple hot cocoa with double marshmallows.
Yes, please. Yes.
Wonderful. And goes off, prepares it, and sort of slides it over to you, very kind of cool, barista style. And you see your names written in foam. It's not your first time here.
Yeah, and she's just having, like, she just gives like this really like sweet smile like in return, and internally she's going like, all right, be cool, don't stay put it together, just remember what the book said, remember, just repeat to yourself what the book said, what you read, just keep focused, be strong, remember be in your safe place, be in your comfortable place, just keep it together. She's not saying anything else. She just has that entire conversation repeating through her head. She's just smiling like maybe 1 or 2 beats longer than is like able to avoid making it awkward.
And you see the face kind of go into this weird, like smiling, but also kind of like noticing you're staring for a little while, and goes, long night, right? Finals?
You could say that it's mostly clients and mostly folks who I work with, folks who are a little bit inclined to want more of my time, and I normally am fine with that, but it's getting near the holidays, and I generally like having a little bit more time to myself around this time of the season. Come and check out favorite sites around the town, favorite people, all that. She says the favorite people part significantly quieter than every other part she's saying. She's just like very like, be cool in front of your crush. Be cool in front of your crush.
And I feel like at that point, there's like a purple streak of light coming in as of someone who's leaving the cafe opens the door.
Like, shit. She's like, I guess I'll see you around. She just goes to like immediately try and find a table and make sure that there's a couple extra seats. And like all the while she's walking over, she's just like, damn it, I knew I should have said something right there. I forgot what page 37 told me to do. Damn it. So pulling out like a self-help book that's like crumpled on the corners of the pages, and she's just like reading it over again.
So as you're looking through the pages, the little purplish bluish light flies underneath the table. It was a bright flash again, and I kind of climb out from under the table, just slide up into a seat. Still just wearing long john top. It's like bright red.
Where's your coat?
You don't need to wear your coat inside. Kind of look around.
Why are you just in long johns?
I got comfortable after I got here. When I came in the door with you.
You didn't come in the door with
I'm looking around at people.
What are you looking for? What are you doing?
Never mind. So, how's your morning going?
Oh God, is it? Do they have like that face that's like, so how'd it go?
Yeah.
Is it that kind of face?
Yeah.
Okay, I had to check. She's like, went fine. I said more than 2 words this time.
You're making progress.
Is like doing like she has the pashmina, and this time she like suddenly like has like a full like almost like winter jacket and like coat and like a hoodie, and she's just like slowly sinking into it. It's better.
So, would you say it was a full sentence yet?
It was a full sentence. It was more than a full sentence.
Oh my gosh. Is she continuing to slink down?
Yes,
in a
she's
chair?
continuing
Oh,
to slink
Elise.
down. She's like at full like this was the top of the chair, so she's just a relatively relative to like right behind the back of her head. She's at about her shoulders or at halfway to that point now.
Yeah.
She's just like fully sunk in. Like you could probably only see the tops of like her glasses.
Oh. I think
My
Sylvia.
heart.
I know, right? My heart. I think Sylvia comes in and sits in the third chair, the last empty chair, and looks at Elise and says, You tried talking to her again? And
Yes.
she says that as she's handing a coat and a pair of pants to Kwaku, because she saw them fly away and she knew they would. Yeah.
Thank you.
How did the talking go today? Was it more than 2 words?
It was more than 2 words. Just
That's
realized
great.
I just made my character George Costanza for Seinfeld. And I'm upset at myself for doing this. Like that's the energy she has when she's embarrassed. It's just George Costanza from
Just George
Seinfeld.
Costanza. She's so endearing though. Elise is so endearing already.
Yeah, she's like, I mean, talk to her. Just sort of, kind of. It's still hard. Words are hard.
Words are very hard.
Words are hard. This is not normally the thing I struggle at.
It's difficult to talk to someone that you care about. Sylvia just thinks of the pig. Oh, Guinea.
Are you still looking for Guinea?
Yep. Did not find them last night. but I'll try again tonight.
You see her like start muttering to herself, and like she thinks she's speaking quietly, but you definitely hear her say, "Would bringing up the pig be a good conversation topic to bring up with her?" I'd probably not a good. I probably shouldn't try that. No,
Oh, you could take one of my missing pig flyers and ask if we can hang it in the coffee house, and that's a good conversation starter.
And then it gives you something to talk about the next time you come back too, because you can approach and ask if anyone's seen the pig.
Oh, right. I think I've read in she's flipping through the book. It's like right. The follow of conversations. That's a thing. That's helpful for establishing rapport. What's the word? It's rapport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
As Elisa's looking down at the book, I look over at Sylvie, give you kind of a wide-eyed look.
I think she returns the look like, okay, we're gonna get Elise through this. Sylvia pushes the flyer over towards you. Elise, you can leave your book here. You have it memorized. And we'll be here, but we won't look. We're totally gonna look.
Are you going to attempt to strike a conversation with the barista? All right, I think this is a good time to roll our first dicer tonight. As this is something a little risky, I think, at least for Elise. So the way the game mechanics work here is that if you're going to do something risky, you roll a 1d6 to find out how it goes. You get extra dice if you are prepared. You get 1 extra dice if you're prepared, and another extra dice if you're an expert or have an appropriate item in your arsenal. And I think for that, I will give you the appropriate item, which is you're using the missing flyer, missing poster as an excuse to talk. If you, and I feel this is a flats because you're trying to converse, or are you going to try to Fangs by using maybe some built-in succubi charms?
I think this is the one person in all of this town currently that she does not use any of the succubus elements.
Okay, so with flats, to succeed, you want to roll under your number, and your number is a 4. So you want to roll you have 2 dice, and you want to roll under a 4.
2. I had a 6 and a 2. I'm really glad I got the extra dice.
So you succeed, and you barely manage it. And I get to add a little complication. So why don't you start off, and I will throw in a little something.
Yeah. I think she goes up to the barista, and I think she's like psyching herself up the whole time. She's like, okay, just remember how you are in the dungeon. More confident. Remember when you're with clients. Remember, you always tell them what to do. They don't control you. You have control of the situation. You got this. I mean, don't tell her what to do, but I mean, now she's into that. Okay, never mind. I'm overthinking this. She like walks up, like she finally has the clickety-clack sound of the heels back. Like they stopped the whole time she was walking away from the barista because she was so nervous, but she like has them back on. She's like, hi.
Oh, and her name says, hello, I am Navi.
Hi, Navi. I was wondering, have you happened to see have any news about this missing pig? And she like shows the flyer, and she's like keeping herself like a little rigid, but like still more like confident pose. She's like very, very much trying to fake being like, I am secure, I am confident, I know what I am doing, I am capable.
And she looks at the poster and says, no, not that size, but I actually did go like pumpkin picking a while ago, and I saw these really cute rescue pigs. In fact, I'm thinking of adopting one. Not the same size though. That definitely is like a teacup big or something, and we're talking like farm pigs. Um, no. Haven't seen. I mean, you could leave a flyer on the bulletin board, hopefully.
Yeah, what I can go take care of that. You said you went pumpkin picking a while ago. She's just like walking over. I forgot to mention she's like 6'5". I don't do
As
short
you
ladies. I do tall ladies.
you go smack into someone. And the person is actually this very tailored suit, corporate business looking type, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa there, pretty lady. Watch yourself. I mean, I know I have people falling for me, but
There's like a instant like mood change for her. Like very much a personality that she only uses in one specific context, and she's just like, not in my lifetime, not in your lifetime, and not even if you were the last man on Earth, not even if you were the last man in the galaxy.
and you see, ooh, I'll say, yeah, I think I will also make this another roll, flats. Or
Flats
if
for
you or
confidence.
fangs, if you wanted to be more supernatural.
I think I'm gonna lean towards supernatural for this one.
Okay,
I think
so you need to roll over your number, and I'm gonna say because you are an expert, you get 1, and I guess you're prepared to deal with stuff like that. So you get 3 dice.
so. I have to roll over the 4, correct?
Yeah, you have to roll over the 4. Yeah, because you're using fangs.
Gotcha. I rolled exactly 4.
Well, that gives you, when you roll the number exactly, you experience flat fangs.
Oh,
You get special insight into what's going on. It counts as a success, but you also get to ask me a question and I'll answer you honestly. And there's a couple of examples, like what are they really feeling? Who's behind this? How could I get them to? What should I be on the lookout for? What's the best way? What's really going, like anything really.
How can I get them to leave?
By you can get them to leave by by annoying them, like basically turning them down, which you kind of did. But you get the sense they're here to talk to. You've seen them actually come around a couple of times, because you all, this is like, Perk, the Perk or whatever, like this is your hangout place. You've seen them actually come from this big storefront that is over there in the neon lights, which I will explain again in a little bit. And they have been trying to talk to the manager of this little cafe. So they're not actually here to see you. If you get out of their way, they might leave you alone.
She just goes. I don't know if you can scathingly put up a missing persons poster, if that's a thing. I don't know if you can body language communicate that, but she just doesn't stop looking at him. And like there's a very faint flash of like very pointy fangs that have like red dripping off of them.
Yeah, he's a little intimidated by that, of like, I'm not sure if I want to tussle with you this early in the morning, and sort of slinks away and just very loudly and rudely speaks to Navi and says, is your manager in? I really have something very important. Your customers are so rude. And Navi kind of like expression immediately, whatever nice demeanor was there, just falls flat and says, 2 doors to the left, just go in there. they're probably in there, and sends them off. And you notice Navi's demeanor changes suddenly. Like there's almost this grimness. And Navi will actually come over to your table and be like, "Oh, hi, Kwaku. I was expecting you in 4 hours. But since you're here, I can take a break in about like 5 minutes."
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you definitely don't have to, but yeah, but you talk either at your break or later or whatever works.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Let me just finish with 1 or 2 tables, and then I mean, if that guy's here, I'm not sure I have a job anymore.
What do you mean?
Well, he's been trying to buy this place to expand his storefront, and at this point, you turn and you see these really bright neon lights, and it says house of and it says greetings house, and it's this big sort of like store full of party paraphernalia, greetings cards, holidays, and right now it is set up with like bright lights and snowflakes and trees and all sort of winter stuff, a mishmash of so many holidays you're not sure what. And there is a big jolly man in like a blue and white fur trimmed thing, and it says Festival of the Winter Sugar Parent. And you know, there's like really weird phrases like naughty, have you been naughty or nice? Come to us for some sugar, and various other.
If I look at the sign, kind of, do the one eyebrow raise, smile a little, but then I look back at and remember who it is who runs it, and look back at the Carl over there. Kind of just that there are parts of that, but so you said he's been trying to buy this place?
Yeah, it seems like their business is doing well. I'm not even sure what that place is. It seems like a weird, like it's like a lifestyle store, and they're trying to sell you a particular lifestyle or something like that. It's like, and currently they're very attached to this weird winter sugar parent. And they have like free cookies outside, and they're offering coffee if they're trying to basically get people to come visit them, and they're going to take over our place as theirs. I mean, right. Don't tell anyone, but we had a break-in and a lot of stuff got stolen, and we can't afford to cover it. So, I mean, if they're coming and trying to make another offer, I'm not sure my boss can say no. Especially since no one's been coming in for the coffee or the cookies except for you, because those over there, those are actually really good. I've had some, they're really good.
What if the stuff that got stolen came back?
I mean, how is that possible?
Just asking.
I mean,
totally regular questions.
I mean,
very regular question.
if you can get our espresso machine and our oven back, that would be great.
Someone stole your oven?
Yeah. Like, it was really, really good. We could make batches of cookies and other breads and other things, and now we're kind of just buying it from the grocery store. Don't tell anybody.
Keep it safe.
What if you worked across the street and made their coffee?
Well, it seems like they kind of already have, they have, some robotic, coffee and cookie maker. They don't need staff. It's like their
That's
entire thing
suspicious.
is, we don't need staff, because,
They have robots.
yeah.
That's very suspicious, Kwaku. Robots. The espresso machine, words are hard. The espresso machine and the oven, are those the only two things that we're missing?
Yeah. I mean, the money wasn't touched. Just those two things.
Weird.
Maybe we can look for them. We can put up missing oven and coffee machine posters.
I mean, can't really advertise that, because then people would know that these aren't.
Yeah. That's right. It's a secret.
What if we said that we were missing our oven and espresso machine from our house?
You use industrial espresso machine and an oven?
We're very
We might.
serious about our coffee.
Also, plan B, or not plan, second hypothetical, alternate hypothetical. What if lots of bad things happen to this other business? Or what if bad things happen to the owner of this business? Just hypothetically speaking.
Alternate hypothetical. What if the stolen items were found and bad things happened to the other store and the owner? Just an alternative.
That is a very specific hypothetical you're bringing up here.
We're just brainstorming here.
I find that specificity helps.
I mean, I don't know, if we had our stuff returned, we wouldn't feel like we need to cave in to them, because everybody knows our coffee is great and our pastries are great. But I mean, that's really the most important thing, because even if the other store went away, if we don't have our oven and our espresso machine back, we may still close.
True.
Just one more. I can't remember how many alternates it was, but one more hypothetical. This one's a hypothetical. What if you something happened to the other business and your business randomly found a pile of money?
I mean, we could probably use that, if either we get our machines back or we get money, either works for us.
Noted.
Okay, I think I'm going to pretend I didn't have this hypothetical conversation here.
Oh, that's for the best.
Yeah, I think my break's over, but Kwaka, you said you had something you wanted to tell me. That's why I invited you to brunch.
I just wanted to tell you about the missing pig. That I think Elise got it though.
Yeah.
Was that it? That's what you wanted to tell Navi?
You get hit with an elbow on the side. Yes, that was definitely it.
That's because you're a helpful friend.
We're all worried about you.
Yeah, I left it on the bulletin, but you know what? You really should I'll be heading in a day or two to that farm I was telling Elise where they had rescue pigs. You could probably search there.
We can?
Yeah, like if you want to come with, and Elise, if you're interested. You know, it could be like a date.
Elise has been listening to all this conversation, by the way, because I don't imagine it took her that long to put
No.
I thought too.
I imagine
There's
you
been
went
an
back to your
increasing-
seat at some point.
Yeah, there's been an increasing look of like, where are you going with this? Oh no, why are you going in this direction? Please stop going in this direction. Oh, we're going in this direction. It was like denial, anger, grief, and then acceptance, all like in one after the other in terms of facial expressions. But then she kind of like big Bambi eye, bashful like reaction to the mention of date, and is like, sure. With you, with the just clarificate that would mean you're going to, right?
I mean, yeah, I could drive y'all there.
That would be heavenly. Just like a giant like octave leap, right? sorry. We have a singer in our household. I've been picking up habits from them.
Oh, you have a new roommate?
In a manner of speaking.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
You're kind of an old roommate.
Old roommate. I thought it was just the three of you together forever. Haha, you know, that whole best buddies thing going on.
Well, it's the three of us and then Arya.
Arya.
But she's like 1,000 years old.
And sort of just really raised eyebrows, doesn't know what to do with that information, and goes like, okay, I'm just gonna walk away and slowly kind of backward with the coffee mug. And I feel like that's actually probably a good time to take a little coffee break of our own.
Yeah, the last thing you hear Elise saying is she just turns to look at Koaku. She turns to look at Sylvia. She does a big sigh and she says, I'm in.
Yay!
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was going to move us to break if we're ready.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yes.
On that note, let's take a short break for 5 minutes. We will be right back. Hello. Welcome back to They're a Super Geek. I'm Jeremy, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Kristin and Mariam, and our guest, Angela. We are playing Flats and Fangs, where Angela, Kristin, and I are going to, as Angela put during break, we're going to go commit some grand larceny. We're going to, we're going to save a local business that means a lot to us on a purely platonic commercial supporting local businesses level. And
Exactly.
and hopefully Elise will get out more than 2 words.
We'll see.
Be gay, do crimes. That's 4 words. Gotcha.
Good job, Elise.
Okay. So, how, I think I'm going to leave it up to you to sort of come up with a bit of a plan. What are you going to do exactly? What's your plan as you are eventually let out into the streets to do as you will?
I think we have 2 things, right? Because we're going to attempt to locate the stolen items before the date, right? Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, the date might be more of an epilogue depending on time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Yeah, so I think we have to put a plan together to kind of track down, like we're investigators. Where could these stolen items be?
I think we should just break into that store there because I think they're probably there. I think Chad took them.
That's
Makes
the name we
sense.
decided. On Chad.
Yes.
Yeah, he has a business card, and also there's like a big poster, like almost like a putting front and center, like those very marketing forward spiritual leaders that put big posters with their name and stuff, like a similar fashion, and be like, this is a mom and pop business in over 40 locations.
Look at that. Look at he clearly took the things.
But do we think that he would store them in his own store?
I don't know. Let's steal his stuff.
Okay. Elise?
Cool.
Ian?
There's a very simple way we can check this as well.
Oh, okay.
I think she's gonna try and walk over to. It was a blue dress. I'm trying to remember the exact description you gave for a sugar plum parent.
A winter sugar parent.
Winter sugar parent.
Yeah.
And it's basically like blue, like a very the Winter Wonderland scheme of blue. So that blue with white fur trim. Just imagine a Santa, but blue and white instead of red and white.
I'm okay with this.
Mm-hmm.
Always wanted a sugar parent.
We're gonna go with because sugar daddy sounded a little too weird, so we're also kind of trying to be gender neutral, so sugar parent it is.
Sugar parent.
She's just gonna walk up to this person and be like, do you work for this? And like just points to the store that we're considering committing a B&E in.
Are you to an employee or
to an employee?
Yeah, there's one looks like maybe 19 or 20, like probably one of the local university part-time jobs. Says best wishes and warmest regards. Yes, I do work at this store.
I think she
and there's like this basted smile of like, I have to do this every day.
Please watch as my soul slowly dies in public. I think she just stands herself up to her full height and is just like, you will lead the three of us over to the back rooms and let us know if any of these materials, and she'll name the list of stuff that we were told were stolen, are present here.
Are you using your succubi terms?
Yes.
Okay. Then I would say you get 3 dice and you need to roll over 4 for success.
Six, baby.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
It's 1 4 and 1 6. So does that count as
3
success?
So you get 1 more.
No. I mean the results were 1 4 and 6.
Yeah, so you do it well. Good job.
Yeah,
as you say that, it's just immediately kind of like the smile loosens a little into a more kind of like far away dreamy, and the eyes, the glaze kind of goes and it turns into a different type of a glaze, and it's just like, yes, of course, you're welcome to inspect our merchandise and see if it is top quality. Please follow me here.
She like quickly turns around to the other two of you. Come on. Now.
We're coming.
It's like, just act casual. She's the most not casual of the three of us walking.
Also,
go ahead.
I don't know how tall Kwaku is, but Elisa's 6'5", Sylvia is 5 foot. So I love the visual of them standing next to each other. That's all.
I'm like 6'1", so.
Oh, perfect. So often Sylvia is between the two of you. Looking up.
Like I'm tall until I stand next to Elise.
Yeah.
So as you're led through this like gigantic maze, like imagine a big box store, but it's just like party and greeting cards, and that's just it. That's what the entire store is. It's not a general department store. It's just it is just a greeting card / party store plus like a holiday store sort of a thing. And you're led through aisles of cards. There's like 10 aisles for just condolences. And they're all various kinds of like puppies and kittens looking sad, and coffins and like all sorts of weird stuff. And then you're taken through the birthday aisle where you have like an aisle for each year from 0 to 100. Wow. And then you eventually make it to the back store. And opens the door and lets you in.
First, I would like to note that as we were going through any of the aisles, that any card, regardless of the theme of the card that had a pig on it, Sylvia took.
Oh yeah, I'll say there's about. Actually, you know what? I will have you roll the dice to see how many you get and whether you get away with it. Okay. So I would say that would be a flats, as I believe larceny is quite mundane.
I believe larceny is quite
larceny. So does that mean I have a 3? Does that mean I want to get?
You want to roll under. So the way it works is whatever your number is, if you're trying to succeed in flats, you roll under. If you want to succeed at fangs, you roll over. Right. Being right in the middle, you kind of have a 50-50 at either. For the most part. So I will say you get 1 for that. And if you want to sell me on more dice or give me, I can give you a dice for a devil's bargain.
You're bringing a devil's bargain into this game?
Yes.
I will always listen to a devil's bargain.
Yes.
Okay. So if you want that extra dice, you will pick up. You must pick up cards that basically have the pop-ups or the little musical boxes, which means if you're later on trying to be sneaky, that may trigger at some point.
Absolutely, 100% yes. Okay, so I'll take a second.
So there's one which is like a flying pig, and as they're flying across the card, there's a lilting lullaby.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a condolence card.
Of course it is in the store. Okay, so I'm gonna roll 2.
Yeah.
2 and a 6.
So you succeed once, but you barely manage it, and I get to inflict a complication, harm, and cost. So in addition to that, you find a stuffed pig.
Yes, I do. This pig is mine.
It has a tag on it.
What does the tag say?
The tag doesn't say anything. It's just a tag. It's a chunky tag attached to it that has a little bit of weight to it. You're not sure what it does, or maybe you do. And you can't pull it off. It's like deeply embedded in this.
Where is the tag sticking out of on this pig?
On the leg.
Okay. I
mean, I'm not that much of a monster.
I don't know that Sylvia is going to try to steal this pig, but I do know that she is going to carry it as we walk into the back
you're
room.
carrying it, whether you...
This is just...
Yeah, it's just in your arms.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
It's
That and the cards.
It's the right size and shape as Guinea.
Makes me think of
Except this
Guinea.
one has little angel wings and a party hat. Or is it a horn? You're not sure.
It's probably a party hat. Definitely a party hat. I like it. I'm keeping it for now, just as we explore.
Yep.
Sorry for the detour.
I just lean over as you're walking, like, good job. Take as much as you can.
Yeah. Yep. I will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so is there anything you're doing while you're traversing the many aisles of this never-ending store?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm looking for expensive stuff. I don't know that I know what's expensive, but I'm looking for what small things that look expensive to me.
There's a lot of costume jewelry.
Yes.
Heavy emphasis
All
on
of
the
it.
costume.
All of it. Just like adding rings to my hand. I mean, I'll roll for it if you want, but I'm not hiding this. I'm just putting them on my fingers.
No, you can roll for it if you would like. I would say again, it's larceny is quite mundane, so that would be a flats you'd be rolling.
Yep. I feel like
things
being
I thought I'd
reckless
be
here.
saying today.
Since I'm wearing it, I think I'm being reckless. Does that work?
Yeah. Oh, yes. So another dice for that. So you get 2 dice, and you want to, for flats, you want to roll under your number.
I got a 1 and a 2.
Oh, so that's 2 successes and a special and a flats, and because your number's a 2, right?
Yeah,
so
it is.
another special, you get to ask me a question.
What should I be on the lookout for as I'm trying to steal stuff?
You see on the ceiling these sort of these little cameras just rotating and looking at people.
Good call. Definitely gonna take some of those on the way out.
As in right now, or like that's something you're gonna do
once we get back on the way back. Put them in the oven if we have to.
All right. So with a detour through the aisles, with with the 5-finger discount, 10 sometimes 10 fingers. I don't know how many fingers you have. You're supernatural creatures. And Angela is gone. We've lost Angela.
It was just how quick they said it right after you finished talking that caught me by surprise. Just like, we'll get it right away. Carry on.
Oh, poor Elise.
Yeah, so you're left in essentially the back room and warehouse for this place. And you see that there are multiple shelves with what looks to be mechanized elevators and I guess arms, like robotic arms, to kind of like, there's a computer and you can punch in, I want this much of that thing, and then there's a mechanized robot arm that goes to the correct shelf, pulls out what you need, and drops it in a bin right next to that computer. And then you see there's a break room, which is literally a table that is full of coffee cups, of like old coffee cups, and what looks to be a storage place of the free cookies that are perfectly wrapped, and they're like like gingerbread people and snowflakes and like beautiful cookies individually wrapped in what looks to be small cute little shot glasses, and some sort of a facility to prepare the sample espresso shots. And it looks like it's just like add water, heat it up, pour it in. They're little kits. They're not, it doesn't look like there would be an oven or a bakery. It seems like it comes from somewhere and it's just delivered here. And like 2 or 3 bathrooms. Actually, no. 1 bathroom. Just 1 bathroom.
Just one.
Sounds right.
And that's what you see. What do you do? And you see that there are cameras also just sort of like everywhere surveying the area. There's a lot of cameras and robots here.
Mm.
Can we tell the arms to grab the things we need?
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Okay, who is doing that?
Get the employee that I've enticed to do it for us. That way it's not us caught on camera doing it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so what do you ask the employee who is still very glazed goo eyes looking at you?
Hi there, sweetheart. Would you mind going to I think she'll just she'll ask first, do you happen to know if there's either ovens or a very fancy espresso machine being kept somewhere back there that the machines could fetch for us? Could you go get it for us if there is?
I can look. Sure. Is that what you want?
Yes, please. And she's like giving like these very gentle little like pets on the top of the head, and then like this very cute,
Every time
like,
you
tiny
pet,
little
there's
peck.
like this kind of like tremor of like, ooh, senpai noticed me sort of a tremor.
Oh.
It's just the cartoon thermometer effect happening
Yeah.
where they go
Yes.
fully red faced. Yeah, I think she'll ask for that and she'll just wait to see what happens.
Yeah, after I'm gonna say no, yeah, so the employee goes taps a couple of things, oven, espresso machine, and then a robot goes pulls it out, and they are dollhouse espresso machine, like their gifts, their holiday gifts. Dollhouse oven, like an easy bake oven, and espresso machine. And be like, is this what you wanted?
Give me 1 second, sweetheart. And she like gives like the like softest little peck on the side of their cheek. It's like, what do we do? 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 What do we
Do
do?
we destroy the store?
I was going to say it's time for alternate hypothetical situation.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Okay.
I didn't bring the baseball bat, but still, we could. Do we have matches? Are we going to set a fire?
Let me check one real quick thing. Just goes over to the entrance person. Do you have a union rep by any chance?
What's a union?
I'm gonna take that as a no. Okay. She like pulls off these very thick gloves she has. She has this really super ornate, like old ruby, like on her finger. She's like, this is worth a lot. You keep this. And we'll just go
Yes,
on
I will marry you.
No, dear, no. Flattered are my type, but no. Just why don't you?
I just met you and I love you. Like Doug.
As sweet and as many times as I have imagined a polykill in my future, not the time. Perhaps we'll talk another time. Why don't you head out of here so you're not at the scene of a crime? Does that work for you?
I will treasure this as a little love nugget, kernel of love forever and ever. And
Elise,
just
You should
proceeds
give
to-
her your number before she goes.
It's okay. This will be a token of. This will be my remembrance of our love forever. And it just walks out.
I kind of imagine, if it's okay with you, Sylvia, that as you say that, the enchantment slightly starts to break because Elise starts to get flustered again at the thought of having to do something like that. She's just like, oh no, wait, no. And it's like her focus, she loses focus in the charm.
I love it.
Don't worry,
Okay.
their forever is a lot different than our forever. It's fine.
That's a good point.
Give or take 100 years.
Unless you turn her. I feel like she might get annoying after a while, but that's just me.
Why are you the one advising me on relationships again? Never
I'm
mind.
sorry. I thought that's what helpful friends do. That's what I read in my book.
Oh no. Do we all share like self-help? Is this what this group is?
I think Sylvia's like newly turned, and I think that she just isn't very good with relationships. And so she's trying to help, but she's very awkward about it, or bossy sometimes.
Kristin, your character has already won me over, and you've had to do almost nothing to do so.
Was it the pig grand larceny? Is that what did it?
I'm going to pass it over to Kawaku as I process the phrase, was it the pig grand larceny? Because I think I'm with Mariam. Of all the phrases I thought I would be saying today, was it the pig grand larceny was not one I was thinking of.
Kwaku, did you bring matches? Are we doing a fire again?
I did not bring matches. But
We're seeing larceny.
can any of us make fire without matches? Probably not. I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's multiple ways. Also, that Easy Bake Oven has had some recall issues.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
Sorry,
Yes.
the mini toy oven. So
The
it's
mini
not.
toy oven.
Yes.
It was the mini toy oven that had recall issues.
Yes.
Point was lodged against the aforementioned company.
Yeah, we just gotta find some like flammable things.
Mm-hmm.
I would say
put it
you
in there.
you could roll the dice and see where it takes you on committing this no longer larceny but arsony.
Yeah.
Arsony.
But the one employee left, right? So there's no other.
They're not in the back room with you, so you know.
Okay.
We're gonna we're gonna Schrodinger that employee until it matters. Because the whole risky thing, we'll see what happens. Yeah. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna leave it up to you whether it is a flats or fangs. Based on how, like, convince me. Change my mind. Is it flats or fangs?
I don't know that I have any magical fire powers. I wish I did. It would make living in this frozen wasteland much more tolerable. But
So then I take
think
it you're
it's
going more
flats.
for flats. Okay,
Mhm.
so
I think it's flats.
you get a 1d6. Also, anyone who wants to help. So the rule I have here is if you want to help someone else who's rolling, say how you try to help and make a roll. If you succeed, you give them a dice. That's in addition to whatever dice they already have. That's a separate thing.
I shall try and help. I think Elise will just be like, okay, wait, I'm sure I have. Did I see that client yesterday? Wait, I did see that client yesterday. I think I did. And then like starts going through her bag, and there's like these very they're designed to be like small ignition kind of point sticks to create like small, tiny localized flames. specifically for fire play and things of that sort. So she's going to see if they still work or if they got wet, I assume.
All right, roll
wet or
me a
something
d6.
worse. So
Nice.
would that be
Yeah, 2d6, yeah. So if you succeed, you add one more d6, I think,
would it
to
be
Kwaku's
flats or
strength.
fangs for this one?
I would say is this part of your work supernatural or mundane?
This is the mundane part, remarkably.
All right, then you are trying to roll under.
2, so that is under.
Yeah, so you add a d6. So I think
So I
right
add
now
a
we're
D6.
at 1, 2, or 3d6 now to roll to see if you can set this place on fire.
Okay.
3d6 for arson. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, Sylvia,
Right.
are you helping in any, like, I just wanted to make sure before we do the roll.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
No. I didn't know if 2 people could help, but if I can, then I think Sylvia's way of helping is running around the room and just bringing anything that she thinks might be flammable and putting it in a pile.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Mundane.
So D6, try to roll under.
6. I think I rolled 2 from last time. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
But I got a 6.
6. Yeah. So you, I'm gonna hang on to that little nugget of information there.
Okay.
For later.
That's fair.
And yes, you get 3d6 to my count right now to try to set this place on fire.
All right. I will go for it.
And
I'm
because
trying
it
to
is
roll.
flats, you're trying to roll under your number.
So yeah, a 6, a 5, and a 1.
Yay! You succeed, but barely, and I get to inflict a complication, harm, or cost. Okay. So, with Elisa's help, for the ignition, and just plugging in that toy oven, you you manage to start a smoke that will eventually start this fire, and probably may take care of all these cameras that are buzzing around. You start to set, like, the fire slowly starting to spread. At what point do you all leave? Because I assume you're leaving, or are you all fireproof?
Are either one of you fireproof?
I'm fire
I'm not-
resistant.
I'm not fireproof, but I'm a fire. I can turn into a firefly, so I can just like stay up and away from the flames for a bit, and then like slip out a window.
Okay.
I don't think I'm fireproof.
Oh, you don't know yet.
Should I try?
Are you going to have a trial by fire?
Is that how this works? Do I just stand close?
I knew someone back in the day, and that he decided to try that way. It's a bad idea.
Okay.
It's a bad idea.
Elise, do you agree? Should I just wait? We can. You know what? I'll go. I'll just go, and we can try it at the house. We'll find out if I'm fireproof there. Okay, I'll be outside.
Okay.
Don't get caught.
Okay.
Sylvia leaves.
Yeah, okay, so I will let you, we'll go around the table and add a description to how this place burns. I will go last with the complication, but, go ahead and describe how this fire takes down House of Greetings, or Greetings House.
I'm going to say that this is more just because I think it'd be funny. I imagine it's almost like a comic book panel shot where you see when the fire gets to a certain point, and Fox can fill in the in between, the actual lighting for the sign House of Greetings, everything but the double E's in greetings gets shorted out, so it just looks like the whole place is saying E. as it's going up in flames.
I really love the image of the what is it? The winter sugar parent. That was a robot, right?
It was like a neon sign.
I was just
sort
saying
of
neon
like-
sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also maybe pop-ups. There's multiple representations of the winter sugar parent.
So I think that there's a one inside that's like a big like moving cardboard cutout that every once in a while says winter sugar parents annual greeting, which is not ho ho ho, but something very similar.
Hey,
sure what it is.
hey.
Hey, that's it. And it's just, you know, completely engulfed in flames, and that tone is just getting lower and lower. As the flames
Mhm.
slowly kind of melting away.
Yes. Yeah, and I love the idea that when we move to the outside, the front of the store, we see Sylvia just standing outside with her hands behind her back, just whistling, like just waving at people as they walk by, as like the whole building is just in flames. She's just trying to act casual.
And as you, I'm gonna say, as you were leaving, there's a big, with the odd tag and everything. There's this big like dee 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 dee, and there's like two robots coming out, and we're about to stop you, but then look at the fire and start taking fire extinguishers and going, "Attention shoppers, please leave, evacuate," and are trying to put out the winter sugar parent who's going, and then you hear "Oh no, I'm not gonna make it. No, save yourself." And it's these two bots having a moment. And as the fire engulfs, there's just one robot hand sticking outside, just barely made it out the front door.
Just the hand.
Just the hand.
I want to take that hand. As I appear, the purple light, little firefly and the flash, and I'm out there again, not wearing clothes. Wearing just my long johns, and I pick up the.
Do we smell burning flesh as you touch a scalding hand that was
of metal and plastic?
Inferno?
Probably.
I feel like it doesn't hurt you though. Aren't we undead? I feel like we smell it, but maybe it doesn't hurt you. It's your call. It's your character. Sorry.
No. I definitely smell it. Definitely, I don't feel it, but
there's like
I smell it.
The sound and sizzle and smell of, like, you know, when a charcoal, when you have like a stamp on for like grill and burgers or something.
I was just imagining burnt salami.
Oh.
All right. I guess we have to probably put a content warning at the end of this of
Apparently. And that's okay.
larceny, arsony, and burning flesh.
Yes.
I went for salami. Sorry.
All right. I think we can sell this hand for some money, maybe.
We don't need money.
No, we don't need money, but the store needs money.
But don't you think they'll have more customers now that this store is burning down? Unless those bots are successful in putting it out. Should we stop them?
I think that was this thing.
Oh, I thought one had survived and went around the okay, then we're good. We've lost Angela again.
Okay, so we're gonna cut to the following day. We cut to the following day where you all are back at the Lebeen. And you see that your friend Navi is very very kind of puzzled and says, "Hey, so you know, yesterday I was pretty sure I was going to be out of a job, but apparently the deal fell through, so I guess we're just going to be here a little longer. It's odd that there was a fire. Apparently there was like a toy oven that was let loose, like was plugged in to check, and then that just set things on fire, burned everything down."
That's terrible. And then
a great
Sylvia
idea.
winks.
Oh, yeah.
How is Elise handling Navi's presence? I assume we're at the same table.
Yeah,
as yesterday.
and I feel like y'all are going to set off to the farm after the shift is over.
Mhm.
Elise is hiding. It's perfect for winter.
I want to be warm. I need a lesbian to be near me, though. That's the ideal we're shooting for, not just warm clothing.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a good time for epilogues of characters if we want to go around and sort of be like narrate a scene quickly of what happens. Who would like to go first? Someone's
I'll
muted.
go first.
Oh, there. No, you're fine.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have the love interest, so I don't mind going first. Mine's short. I think that we get to the farm and we see Sylvia kind of walking around, and then she notices like the pig pen area where they're doing adoptions. And we see like a close-up of Sylvia's eyes, and then a close-up of a pig's eyes, and then a close-up of Sylvia's eyes. And it's Guinea, obviously. Guinea's like 200 pounds at this point and like a full-grown pig, but Sylvia does not care. It's obviously coming back to the house with us. And she runs in rom-com slow motion.
And then there's also Guinea in slow motion kind of trotting over. Do, 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 do,
Yes.
do. Sort of.
It's a fire playing in the background.
Yeah. And I made Guinea a little hat and I put it on them. And I think they consent. I think they're happy with the hat. And that's it. That's all Sylvia wanted. That's her epilogue.
Yeah.
So, sure, yeah. So I think a scene of somewhere on this farm at some point I get up the nerve to try and like I try and see if I can get just a moment alone to chat with Navi.
Yeah, and this farm it turns out is actually Navi's family farm. And you see Navi's dad and Navi's sister, and the sister goes around, and this is a very long-winded way to make this really, really silly pun. Goes around and it's like, oh yeah, Elise, Navi, Dad, nice to meet you.
Yes.
God damn it. I've already heard it once and I still wasn't ready for it.
Me either.
Love it.
Yeah, so you do get a moment with Navi.
Okay. And I just say, okay, I want to say this quickly because otherwise I'm going to lose my nerve, Navi. I'm I have something I've been wanting to tell you, but I was afraid you might not take it well. I don't know. Sometimes you mortals can be weird about this.
Okay.
You're not going to be weird like right?
I will try not to if I think what it is you're gonna say.
So I don't know, maybe you already noticed.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious whenever you walk in.
It's obvious. Sorry. I'm gay. Yeah.
Oh, you're gay. That's
Yeah.
what you wanted to tell me.
Yeah. What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally cool about it. I kind of guess that was the case. You know, I'm gay too, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Why wouldn't I be okay
no,
about that?
I don't know. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I don't know.
In case you haven't noticed, I do like your friend.
Yeah,
And sort of
I don't
looks
know.
back at Elise and then looks back like far away.
I don't know. You humans are so weird about this thing.
That's all you wanted to tell me?
Yeah.
Not that you are nocturnal?
I guess I do like the night.
Or that you are somehow in the room without going through the front door?
I mean, yeah, I'm in ads. You knew that. Thought everyone knew that.
I mean, I guess, but you never explicitly told me.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm totally fine with it, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, can you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Can you? I think I think Elise is actually going to explode if you don't go talk to her.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's it.
All right. And I feel like, Elise,
Yep.
what is your epilogue?
I kind of imagine she has really good hearing, so she probably heard. So there's probably a moment where, like, the whole meme of like I sense a disturbance in the force is just like Elise being next to Sylvia, and then Sylvia just seeing her like stop and just like begin like melting into the ground, like spontaneously, and then it's like a Roadrunner Looney Tunes moment of like a dust cloud being left behind and an imprint of Elise as she just kind of rushes over, sort of like, she like stands herself up like really tall. She like takes like a deep breath. Hey, I really like you. I think you're really awesome. I've been super interested in you for about 6 weeks, and probably even more than that. I know I'm really odd, and it's a little hard to try and say words to you, but I'm really interested in you. I think you're super funny. You're hilarious, and you're really good. And if you ever want help with all the barista kind of stuff, I'm willing to help you with money and related things. Do you have a union? Okay, if you don't have a union, I'm happy to help with anything related to that. Your boss seems like he sucks sometimes, and some of the folks who come in are really shitty. But if you want help with dealing with them, I'm happy to do that, or just anything. I just want to be around you because you're really awesome. Kate.
Yeah. Yes, and I like you too, and maybe we should do something just the two of us? Like, have dinner?
That would be nice. It's like
Cool.
the most like tiny little like voice, and like I imagine there's a big height difference between the two of them.
Oh yeah, I think I would say Navi's average height, so like 5'5".
Yeah, so I'm a good like foot tall. Yeah, I'm like a good foot taller than her minimum.
But somehow you just in energy just itty bitty.
I think she physically like becomes cowed and like sinks low enough to like be about the same height as her from like being happy at getting a yes. And then like she just does hug and like gets close. And that seems like good scene.
And also sort of like gives a pretty good hug. And that's a I feel like that would be a great way to kind of end Flats and Fangs. This was more on the wholesome side than aside from the larceny and arsony that happened. On the more wholesome side than on the supernatural comedy side. But hey, it's the holiday season. Winter. It's the winter sugar parent season. And with that, that's our game for today.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Mariam. Thank you for running this. And thank you so much, Angela, for joining us tonight. Our audience, if you would like to play Flats and Fangs, you can check out the link that will be posted on the show notes as well as in the description of the video. Let's go around the table one more time and plug ourselves. Who are you and where can we find you? We're going to go in reverse order. So
I guess I will go first, and this time I'm prepared. Hello, everybody. I am Mariam. I am a TRPG cultural consultant, writer, game designer now, because I actually finished a game and we played it today. And also a podcaster and streamer. You can find me on Twitter at media_junkie. That's where you can get all the latest news on me. Other than that, you can find me here alternate Thursdays on their Super Geek. As well as you can find me on Utopia, skulking around as one of 3 raccoons in a trench coat, also known as the caretakers of that space. And I also am the creator and GM of Kahania, which is set in Surzamine, a world I am writing. And also, I'm a big Bluebeard's Bride enthusiast and love running and producing one-shots like that. So that's me. I will pass it on to Angela, wonderful guest.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Angela. It was a absolute honor to get to be involved with Super Geek. This is a delightful crew of goofballs to get to interact with. I am, if I can remember the entire list of things, a professional writer, a poet who posts poems typically every Thursday through my Patreon and then onto my Twitter at Phoenix24fm. And you can find the originals at my Patreon of Philosophem. You can catch me over on the somewhat stalled, but hopefully we'll be bringing it back in the new year, podcast of Clearly Yours with my partner of 10 plus years. You can catch commissions for music that I write and create for streams and for other programs just at the email that I have that I typically use, angela.lemus-mogrovejo22@gmail.com. And also you can catch my work over at Voice of the Phoenix on itch.io with my Slayers playbooks that are there. You can catch my writing soon in the recently kickstarted Slayers Almanac. And also, because I forgot to mention it before, I am hopefully by February going to have my first ever game published with full layout and everything. A 3-person GM-less game about grief, trauma, loss, and sort of making peace with such things called Flame in the Abyss. It's inspired by a lot of different things, namely Quimby Rodriguez's Your Sisters Died Laertes, a little bit of the Final Fantasy IV Dark Knight Job 14 quest, Halo and Horns by Connie Cheng, and a few other things like For the Queen style games. First game, I'm super excited to actually publish it and share it with one. And Mariam has actually even helped me playtest the game as well.
It is such a good game, and I'm hoping next year we can have you back to play that game. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, that's me. Hi, I'm Kristin. She, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at Kristin is no Jedi. This was fantastic. Mariam, again, thank you for running it. For those of you that don't know, Mariam's a fantastic human, very talented. Go support them, follow them, buy their game and upcoming games. The end. Angela, also thank you again. It was an absolute joy meeting you and playing with you. I hope we can do it again soon. Okay. Again, you can find me on Twitter at Kristin is no Jedi. I am a RPG game designer, writer. I do this wonderful stream every other Thursday, and I also am a podcaster. You can also catch me over on the Twitch Actual Play channel every other Tuesday, where I am playing a Blades in the Dark game called The Rusted Lock with Sean Nittner and Jammy. It's a fantastic little crew. We're having a grand time. We have done 10 sessions, and our goal is to do 100. So join us for that Blades game. Also, my big project right now is Adorablins, which is a family-friendly, very rules-light PBTA game in which you get to play goblins who have lost an item of great importance and have to go on an adventure. It's a very important game to me. It's very fun for adults, for silly improv, fun time, but it also is meant to teach young children how to role play and introduce them to PBTA. So yeah, you can find all my stuff again at Dice Up Games or on Twitter at Kristin is no Jedi. Jeremy, I'll pass it to you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Again, this was such a fun time. I'm Jeremy. I use they, them pronouns. I'm an educator, a game designer, a freelance writer. You can find me on Twitter at HarkMorper, usually trying to hype other queer, trans, and BIMPoC folks. You can find the games that I create on harkmorper.itch.io, and at the end of this month or the beginning of next, you'll be able to find my newest thing I'm working on right now, which is an adventure for thirsty sword lesbians. I'm super excited to publish a game powered by an adventure powered by lesbians, set in the setting created by Janaya Kemper, Les Violettes Dangerous. I'm so excited for it. So keep an eye out for that. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. That is our show tonight. Join us next time for our first annual, I don't know if we're willing to make that commitment, clip show, and to see a game designed by me. Where we'll play as queer teens living in a world with queer magical girls called False Protagonists. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Goodbye.